welcome back to my channel. As I do every year, today I'm going to be going through my favourite books that I read in 2021. This year my reading in general has not been as good as last year. I only gave out 3 5-star ratings. So this list is being rounded out by some 4 and 4.5 star ratings, as I ended up giving out loads of those. And these are in a particular order because I attempted to rank them, so starting off from number 5 all the way to number 1. And we are starting off with Honey and Ishi's Guide to Fake Dating by Adiba Jagadar. I gave this book 4 stars, but I'd probably bump it up to 4.5 if I'm honest. This book is about Honey, who comes out as bisexual to her friends, but they don't believe her because she's never dated another girl. So in a panic, she blurts out that she is dating someone, a girl called Ishu, who is a girl that all her friends hate, and it's the complete opposite of Honey. And Ishu agrees to help Honey, so she stands a chance of becoming head girl. And despite their fake dating pact, they do end up developing real feelings for each other. This book is full of humour, which I wasn't expecting, and it had one of my favourite tropes, the grumpy sunshine trope. And I found the characters very relatable. I could see parts of myself in both Honey and Ishu. I'm definitely an optimist like Honey, but I'm more of an introvert like Ishu, and I'd rather stay and read, not necessarily study. There were lots of sweet moments in this book which I really enjoyed, and this is the first Adiba Jagadar I read. I really want to read her debut, The Header Wars, and she does have a new release coming out in 2022 I think, which I'm really looking forward to, and I'm excited to read whatever she puts out next. Next on the list is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Iyamide. This is a debut dark academia YA thriller set at Nibi's private academy, where an anonymous texter called Aces is exposing the secrets of the only 2 black students at the school. They are Chimaka, the head girl, who has fought to get what she wants and won't let anybody stand in the way, and Devin, who is a talented musician. He's pretty reserved and sensitive, but his private photos get leaked, and unfortunately he is brought into the spotlight. You may have heard this book be described as Gossip Girl meets Get Out, which is incredibly accurate. So if you like either of those things, then you'll probably love this book as well. And I know this book has had a lot of hype this year, but for me it has definitely lived up to that hype. For the length of the book, it did manage to keep me intrigued and engaged throughout. I wanted to keep on reading to find out what will happen next and to find out who's ruining the lives of these students. The plot is definitely the biggest strength of this book, but I did really like Chimaka and Devin, our main protagonists, for different reasons. I had the most sympathy for Devin though, because as things just kept on going wrong for him and it was so heartbreaking to read, I really appreciated and valued the LGBT plus representation in this book, as well as the racial and social class discourse. This is an incredibly strong debut, and I can't wait to see what the author puts out next. In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado is my next favourite. This was the very first book I read this year, so I'm very happy that it ended up making it onto my favourites. I did listen to this purely via the audiobook, but I bought a physical copy because it is a favourite, and I think if I want to reread it again, then I will want to try and read it physically. This is a memoir of the author's experience in an abusive relationship with another woman. The audiobook is incredible. I would highly recommend it if you have access to it. And each chapter is like a mini essay or vignette, and the book combines accounts of what happened in the relationship as well as diving into queer history to examine how domestic abuse is presented in the media, especially within queer relationships, and the societal pressure that is placed on queer relationships to be perfect. This is an incredibly beautiful, emotive and painful book, and it is one that has stuck with me throughout the whole year. I would highly recommend it if you can handle the topic, and I really want to read more books similar to this, so if you have any recommendations then let me know. I know Carmen Maria Machado usually writes horror I think, so I'm not 100% sure if I read her other books, but I'm definitely open to trying it. Then in the number 2 spot we have Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. Nobody's surprised, we knew this was going to make it into this list for me. Before I even read it, I knew it was going to be 5 stars. Heartstopper is my favourite series, and it just brings me so much comfort and joy. This series follows Nick and Charlie, then meeting in high school, becoming friends and then falling in love, as well as their group of mostly queer friends. This was definitely the most emotional and hard-hitting installment in the series so far, as Charlie is struggling with his mental health and Nick is trying as hard as he can to help him and save Charlie. The timeline of this novel coincides with Solitaire, which is Alice Oseman's debut, which I haven't read yet, but I did haul it recently. So when I finally do, I know I'm going to be in for an interesting time. I'll say that all the topics and themes were done really well and sensitively in my opinion. You saw things happen from both Nick and Charlie's perspective in a retrospective style, and conversations around mental health were so important and necessary, and showing the fact that sometimes you can't save the people you love, they have to save themselves first. I do really appreciate this book and what Alice Oseman did to try and keep the light and wholesome tone of the Heartstopper series whilst also covering the very serious topics. During a weekend in May, I reread the whole series before getting to this, and I had a great experience doing that. I know it's going to be a long while before we get the next volume, but 2022 is going to be a big year for Heartstopper, with the Netflix adaptation coming out and everything, which I am so excited for but equally terrified. And then finally, my number one favourite book of the year is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Seeing as Red, White and Royal Blue was one of my favourites last year, this automatically became my number one most anticipated read of 2021, and it definitely lives up to the quality of Red, White and Royal Blue, I believe. It's an excellent, well-rounded novel, both character and plot driven. Casey McQuiston has managed to create both main characters and side characters that you become invested in. Wonderful example of the found family trope, as August moves to New York and moves into an apartment with people who really welcome her in and make August feel like she's a part of something for the first time in her life. And then on the subway, she keeps on meeting Jane Sue, who is a woman who has been displaced in time from the 70s. It's all about like their relationship and also trying to like quote unquote save Jane and find out why she's been displaced in time. Speaking of August and Jane's relationship, the romance was fantastic in this. Their chemistry was off the chains, and for me it was extremely validating to read about somebody who has a similar body size to me, who is wanted, loved and valued, not just for their body size but everything else about them. If you want a funny, romantic, sapphic novel, then this is definitely the book for you. And I'm so excited to read Casey McQuiston's next novel, which is actually going to be her first young adult. I think I Kissed Shara Wheeler is probably going to be my number one most anticipated read yet again. So there we have it. Those are my top 5 books of 2021. If any of those are your favourites, let me know in the comments down below, or just tell me what your favourite book that you read in 2021 was. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my videos, then feel free to subscribe. I hope you have a great day, Happy New Year, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!